Good morning, everyone. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. We are entering into the last 2 days of the holiday of Passover. And these are the last days we're going to eat the matzah. And one final reminder of what the message of the matzah is, that after a week or 8 days of eating matzah, we have to take that message of the matzah with us and carry it forward for the entire year. The matzah is referred to as lechem oni, which is often translated as the bread of affliction, the bread of poverty. But why celebrate a joyous holiday like Passover with a bread of affliction or a bread of poverty? And so the Maharal Prague gives another interpretation to the word oni. He says the word oni could also mean simplicity. Lechem oni is the bread of simplicity. You see, matzah is a very simple bread. Flour, water, it doesn't even rise, no yeast. And it's the basic essentials and necessities for life. And what the message of the matzah is, that freedom is achieved not through elaborate luxuries and a abundance of material possessions, but on the contrary, by leading a life of simplicity. 1 week a year, we remind ourselves that what's essential for life are the necessities of life. And living a life of simplicity rather than one of complexity is what leads to true freedom and happiness, because you're not dependent on all these material things. We live in a day and an age that things have become more complex than ever. Take your smartphone and the dozens of apps we have on it, and all the technology, and all the new gadgets and all these new amenities that we have added to our lives, which on the one hand we say it makes us happier and freer, but it also is so much more time consuming and has robbed us of the simplicity of enjoying beautiful day-to-day existence. I'm now in Lake Tahoe, beautiful nature, lakes, mountains, hikes, trails. So much, many of us are so consumed with technology that we are so obsessed with accomplishing more and more productiveness and more proactiveness, that we don't have time to enjoy the simple gifts of life, which is fresh air and beautiful scenery and beautiful sunrises and sunsets and mountains and water. And Passover reminds us is that the simple things in life are often the greatest. You know, the new list of richest people in the world came out, and the 4th richest man in the world is Warren Buffett, who's worth $162 billion. And people say, well, he's such a wealthy man. But you know why he's really wealthy? Because he's not dependent on his material wealth. Warren Buffett is 93 years old. He has a simple house in Omaha, Nebraska that he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Today it's estimated to be worth $1.4 million. And he's lived in the same house for 67 years. And people say to him, you're worth $162 billion. Why do you own one house and such a simple house? And he says, because it has everything I need. It keeps me warm in the winter, cool in the summer. It's comfortable. I can't imagine being happier in another house. So why would I buy another house? And the same thing is with his car. He drives a 2014 Cadillac that he bought used with hail damage, and he hasn't upgraded his car. And that's what it means to be a wealthy person. To be a wealthy person means, yes, I may have luxuries, but they're not necessities. They're not what I'm dependent on. But rather, I look to a life of simplicity, his marriage, his children, his family, his good fortune, his good health. That's what he celebrates most of all. Matter of fact, he only got a smartphone in 2020, just 5 years ago. He resisted it, keeping to his old flip phone for so many years, once again choosing a life of simplicity. I have a colleague of mine who told me a story that he was once officiating at a funeral of a woman, and clearly this woman was a very complicated woman, and there was a lot of pain and dysfunction in the family. And as the children and the grandchildren got up to eulogize her, on the one hand they spoke about her praises and her virtues, but they all referenced or alluded to the fact that there was a lot of complexity in the family as a result of her personality and the dysfunction that she created in the home. And the last one to speak was her very own son. And he got up, and all he said was the following. He said, Mom was a complicated person. So why don't we just remember to always simply love each other, simply be loyal to one another, and simply treat each other with kindness. That's the message of the simplicity of the matzah. Let's remember the simple things in life. To simply love each other, be loyal to each other, be kind to each other, and love each other unconditionally. Have a wonderful last days of the Chag.